Thanks for being here today. I got a live story to share, but before I do, this huddle is called What I Do Is dot dot dot. What I do is dot dot dot. How do you answer that when someone says, "What do you do with DAC?" What I do is dot dot dot. And I'm going to give you something to say that helps a business owner understand quickly, conceptually quickly, what we do and how to go out and find clients that this fits. But before we do that, we're going to go through today's funding story. And I've got it right here. This is a client who, and I'm really looking forward. I'll be seeing Wade later today. I'm really looking forward to seeing him in person. We're meeting together for a business meeting, which is great. Wade, if you're on, I'm looking forward to seeing you. I think you're on an airplane, though. A heating and air conditioning HVAC company out of Ohio. The broker is Truce Harris. And this is a client that received initial funding in April of 2024. It's over a year ago. Credit was only a 501 FICO score. Of all of our approvals, of all of our declines, we had one or two approvals at a 501 FICO score. This will be, since 4 of 24, their sixth funding with us. Sixth. They need funds for HVAC system. He already sold to install, and he needs to install it ASAP. So he needs to get the equipment so he can install and collect the money, because you got to have stuff to install, right? You can't show up without a furnace to install a furnace. You got to have a furnace in possession, right? And it's hard to get terms from those suppliers. You got to buy it in advance and pay for it after it's installed. The initial funding was 35 flex rate at 1.43. This new funding now 6-1, 1.38 instead of 1.43. So he's saving 5%. And he got 85K instead of 35K. 8-month deal. What's happened over the last? So what happened? We help businesses who have expansion needs and can't get funding from a bank. As an example, we had a HVAC company who got $35,000 from us so he could expand his business. And since that time, he's used us 6 different times to get fundings so that he could expand, say yes to opportunities without having the money to pay for it in advance, so he could install and collect later. So when a business needs money and can't get it from the bank, we can help them. The client could have gotten a better rate except for having too many negative bank days over the last 3 months. He's running at a real tight spot right now. Obviously, he's in expansion mode. Expansion mean modes, you generally are spending everything you can to expand, and you're cutting the corners everywhere you can to try to get it. And sometimes it takes 3 days to get paid from that client. Now a check is bounced. So growth mode is, if you're cutting it close to the vest, just trying to spend everything that's available in the account because you're trying to grow, sometimes you can be hit with negative. But the business funders understand this. If they see growth, they understand what businesses are doing. So this is their 6th funding in under 2 years with us. Good for Truce. Congratulations. Another commission, but more importantly, another great story for that business owner. All right. So let's take that and build on it. What you just heard was a story, right? You've heard stories every day, at least one. And so when someone says, "What do I do?" you don't just say, "I help people get funding." What I do is, now you explain what we do in a story. Okay. What do you do, David? What's David Allen Capital? Well, what we do is we help businesses get funds to grow or expand when they can't get it from their bank. Pretty simple. You've already said who the target market is. Businesses who are growing or expanding who can't get it from the bank. For example, we had a donut shop that was doing about $40,000 a year in sales. They wanted to expand a second location. They just weren't, I'm sorry, $40,000 a month. They just weren't making enough money. So they needed a second location. They couldn't get money from the bank. We were able to get them $38,000. They opened that second location and added $600,000 in revenue to their business the next year. And then they want to expand to a third location. The bank still wouldn't give it to them. We got them $80,000. They opened their third location. They add another $600,000 a year to the business. So that's what we do. We help businesses when a bank can't. It's a real simple thing, but the object is, it's called same side selling. All it is framing a story. It's telling a story, telling what we do in a story, but answering in how we serve, not what we do. What we do, we're business funding. How we serve. We help a business expand who can't get the money from their bank, but they want to expand, as an example. Or we help businesses when they're in a real tough pinch and can't get help from their bank. As an example, we had a restaurant was 4 months behind on their rent. The landlord said, "We're shutting you off. We're locking your doors." And they had to come up with 5 months rent or they were going to be shut down. We got them that 5 months rent the next day. So we helped them out of that pinch. So we help businesses when a bank is not ready to help them. It's really simple. What do I do? It's story. You tell the story. You don't just say, I help people get loans. I'm in the business funding space. I mean, that's all true, but that's just telling what you are. Tell how we do it, why we do it, and give an example. Okay. Real simple. What I do is I help businesses get funding when their bank can't help, businesses that are in expansion mode and they want to fund future growth, maybe a second location, and they can't get money from the bank. As an example, boom, 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 story. That's it. That's simple. And then if it's someone are you a business owner, not a business owner? You meet them at a networking meeting, you meet them in line. I just had this the other day. Where was I when someone said, "Oh, I was at Marlo's event, my wife's event over the weekend in Ohio. I'm sorry, in Ontario, Canada." And someone said, "What do you do?" Because I had my logo on. "What do you do? What's David Allen Capital?" What do you think I said? "Oh, we're in business funding. And what we do is we help businesses who have growth needs and can't get the money from their bank. So we come alongside, get them the money. They're able to experience that growth. As an example, your husband is in the automotive repair business, right? Yeah. So we had an auto repair business. They had 2 stalls and always had to say no to business because they could only work on 2 cars at a time. And we were able to get them $60,000 so they could build a third stall, new wall, and now they could say yes to more business. So without us, they couldn't do that. With us, they could. So that's what I do. I help people expand their businesses with funding. Story. What I do is dot, dot, dot. So what is your challenge today? Your challenge today is to say what I do is and practice it a few times. What I do is same side selling. You talk about how you serve a business when it's the right fit, when they can't get it from their bank or they need it fast. Give a story and you're done. It's really that simple. That's your challenge today is say that to yourself 5 or 10 times if you don't already answer that way. And then go say it to 4 or 5 businesses. Find a way to have a curious conversation with someone, even who's not a business owner, so you can tell them what you do. Go to Facebook and make a video of this. "Hey guys, I'm in business funding. I just want you to tell you what I do and why I do it. In case you know any business owners, we might be able to help." What we do is we help businesses who want to grow and expand and maybe they can't get the funding from the bank, but they got to got to have a growth idea. And so we come alongside, we get them the money they need to grow. They're able to expand their business. As an example, we help a business, a tire store. They were running through some cash flow issues and they wanted to expand and start selling rims and other things, but they needed inventory. They needed to buy a bunch of rims to put in their showroom. So we were able to get them $30,000. They were able to fund that showroom and make it. And now they've quadrupled their sales, whatever the story is. Go do a video on Facebook. Do it. Put it up. Watch it get shared. All right. That's your challenge for today.